So when I first bought this car, I didn't really know anything at all about BMWs. I didn't really do any research or anything like that before I bought it. So after I got it, there was a lot of things that I didn't know about the car, and I just kind of had to learn as I went along. So today I figured that I'd make a video, a little list of some of the top things that you're going to need to know if this is your first time owning a BMW. First thing is understanding the two different types of tire pressure monitoring the BMW has used over the years, and if you check your owner's manual, it should tell you which type your car has. So for example, mine has the FTM system, and the way that system works is it uses the ABS to measure the rolling diameter of all four tires, and then based on that it can make a comparison and kind of figure out if one tire is lower than the others. Now the only problem with this system is that if all four tires equally get low, like let's say it's getting to be winter time right now, so the temperature outside is decreasing, and it can't tell if all four tires get low at the same time, so you're still going to have to manually check the tire pressure every once in a while if you have the FTM system like I do. The other thing to keep in mind if you have the FTM system is that anytime that you either put air in the tires or change the tires, you're going to have to go in and recalibrate the FTM. So it's really simple. You just go in your iDrive menu and there's like a little option to reset it. You can only reset it when the car is standing still, but yeah, it only takes a couple seconds and you'll be good to go. Then on a lot of the newer BMW models, for example, I think the 3 Series, it's like 2009 and newer, they actually have sensors built into the tires. That's the TPMS system, and it's just a sensor that's like part of the valve stem, so each tire you get a really accurate measurement of the actual pressure within the tire rather than the comparison like the other FTM system. So the TPMS is a lot more accurate. The only problem with that, the only downside, is that it does make it a little bit more difficult if you ever want to change your wheels, because you're either going to have to transfer your existing sensors into the new wheels, or you're going to have to buy a whole nother set, and they are pretty expensive. I think a set of 4 is like $150 to $200, so just be aware of that if you've got a newer BMW model. Brakes and brake sensors. So BMW is known for having really excellent brakes with just incredible stopping power. So the reason for that is they're using a softer compound for their brake pads, and the trade-off is that they do tend to wear out pretty quickly, and as a result of that, there's going to be a ton of dust on your wheels all the time. You'll probably notice that like the day after you wash your car, your brakes are already covered in dust. So what I recommend is when it's time to replace the pads, get yourself some really good quality ceramic brake pads. The ones that I have are by Akibono, and they just have such little dust compared to the stock pads. The stopping power is just about the same, they only cost a little bit more, so I do highly recommend those when it's time to upgrade your brake pads. Also keep in mind that BMWs do use brake pad wear sensors. There's one in the front driver wheel and one in the rear passenger wheel, and it's part of the brake pad itself. It's like a part that clips on, and it's designed to wear out as the brake pad's wearing out. So just keep in mind whenever you're changing the brake pads on this car, you're also going to be replacing those two sensors. So they're like $15 a piece. Alright, gas and fuel. So your BMW does require premium gas, and if you ever wonder about what octane rating to use, it's actually printed on the inside of the fuel door for your convenience. And then according to the owner's manual, it says the minimum octane rating that you can put in the car is 91. If you're using gasoline with this minimum octane rating, the engine may produce knocking sounds when started at high outside temperatures. This has no effect on engine life. So in other words, 91 is the absolute minimum that you can put in, and the car might drive a little funny or sound funny if you use that. Personally, I always use 93 whenever it's available. That's like the highest octane rating in my region, but yeah, always use the highest that you can get for your car. BMWs also require full synthetic oil, and you really owe it to yourself to learn how to do your own oil changes. It's really not that hard. I've even done some videos on it on this channel if you want to check those out, but you're going to save thousands over the lifetime of your ownership if you change your own oil. A lot of the dealerships will charge anywhere from $120 to $150 for an oil change, but you can do it yourself for around $50, and that's with using a good oil filter and some premium brand oil. So always change your own oil. Don't waste your money at the dealership on something so simple. And don't bother going to those 15-minute oil change places. In my experience, a lot of them don't even have BMW oil filters in stock. They have to like special order them, and sometimes those places will price gouge you just for the fact that it's a European car and they don't want to mess around with it, even though, like I said before, it's really not that much different than any other car. They just, because it's a European brand, they think that they can charge more and get away with it, so just avoid those places. DIY repairs and resources. So just like changing your own oil, you really owe it to yourself to do as much of the repairs and maintenance as you possibly can on your own. It's just so much cheaper to do DIY stuff. rather than just running to the dealership at the first sign of trouble. So on this channel I've got a whole playlist with step-by-step DIY videos, everything from changing the oil, replacing brakes, just all that type of maintenance stuff is all on this channel. So I highly recommend that you subscribe to the channel if you either just bought one of these cars or you're thinking about it. I've got a ton of information that you'll find helpful. Also, some other resources are the forums. I personally like E90 posts for my car. There's a lot of really good DIY write-ups on there that you'll find helpful. Another one is Facebook groups, like the one that I'm on is called E90 Owners Classifieds. And I find that when I post a question on there, like within 10 minutes I'll get a few answers. So that's really helpful if you need like some quick information. You can just post a question on there and someone will just answer it right away. So I'm going to leave links to all of those resources down in the description if you want to check those out. Alright, so my last piece of advice here is to find yourself a really good independent mechanic. There's going to be some repairs or some maintenance things that are either out of your league, or maybe it's just too messy or you just don't want to deal with it. Find a good independent mechanic who can work on your BMW, and most of them can, believe it or not. Some people think that these cars are like Lamborghinis where you have to take it to a specialist or something, but really most shops nowadays are equipped to work on European cars. So just ask around, maybe some people that you know locally who own BMWs, just see where they take their cars for repairs, and you're just going to save so much money compared to the dealership as far as like labor costs and even the cost of parts. So just recently I had the axle shaft replaced on my car and it only cost $500 total. That's parts and labor, so I think that that's a pretty good deal. So yeah, just be aware of that. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, if you found this information helpful, please just give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Also, definitely subscribe to my channel if you're new to BMW, you just bought your first one, or you're in the market for one. I've got a ton of great information on here, everything from maintenance, DIY videos, just general ownership videos. Everything that you need to know is on here, so definitely subscribe to the channel for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.